Into a story we brought you last week. The City of Green Bay partnering with NeighborWorks, a local housing education and assistance program, for a unique program that could impact the need for long-term housing in the community. Those two entities together formed the Green Bay Housing Partnership. Earlier this month, it unveiled the Community Land Trust Initiative, or CLT. It would offer a long-term land lease on purchased homes, lowering the cost for home buyers. Noel Halverson, the president and CEO of NeighborWorks Green Bay, joining us right now to talk more about the CLT program. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
First off, let's talk about the barriers that you saw or you see for NeighborWorks Green Bay for families to buy homes currently in this market.
Yeah, there used to be a time when the median income household was able to afford a median priced home in our community, and they're just out of reach today.
They certainly are. And so this must have led to a conversation about doing it differently.
Right.
So tell us how this conversation started, who got involved, and what you decided.
Sure. Green Bay's Mayor, Eric Genrich, has been talking about land trusts with me for many years and thought this is a tool that Green Bay needs. And in the last year or so, we finally put it all together.
Yeah, so the city is involved, NeighborWorks Green Bay, and you're also depending on some other support too.
Sure. Our planning team included the Greater Green Bay Habitat for Humanity. It included the Basic Needs Giving Partnership. It included a whole host of community experts, real estate experts, the Realtors Association and others, just to help us figure out exactly how this tool could best be used in our market.
So this Community Land Trust Initiative, walk us through how this would work in the purchase of a home for a family.
Sure. So the trust would work by providing some financing for the gap or a subsidy for the gap between what a household could actually afford in terms of a mortgage and what the market prices are for homes. And so, we have some experience in maybe lowering the price a little bit relative to what it costs to build when we're building a new home in a neighborhood, or maybe somebody's finding a home in the market and it's just a little bit more than they can afford or a lot more than they can afford. The trust could bring those dollars to close that gap and make it attainable for that family so that they can get into the home ownership, but then that house will stay affordable permanently after that.
So tell us how it stays affordable, because if people don't understand that community land trust, they're basically leasing the land from the trust, correct?
Yeah. So the buyer purchases the home, but the trust holds the land for the benefit of the community, and then there's a lease on that land. The home can be left to your heirs. It works conventionally in that way, but if it ever sells, then it has to sell to another income qualified family, and it has to sell for a price that's established by a formula when they initially buy the home. And it lowers the appreciation from what we've been seeing in the marketplace to keep that home attainable for the next generation of the families that are going to live there forever.
So those double-digit appreciations that people have seen in the last 6 years, basically, would not happen in this case.
That's correct.
They do get some appreciation if they were to sell, as you mentioned, but it's not going to be that crazy, out of control, bidding war that you would see.
Right. Yeah, we take that out of the equation. It means that it doesn't. You don't just get to cash out whatever the craziness is that the market's done in that time. It limits that, but then it makes that home more affordable for the next buyer. But you still get the appreciation that the formula allows. You still get the equity that you built by paying down your mortgage, and so it works. But it's not for everybody. If somebody's listening to this and saying, well, geez, I should get all the appreciation in the market. Well, that's what happens if you purchase in the market. If you use a tool like this, we're going to limit that. But if you could already buy a home in the open market, then go for it. This program's not for you.
So who would qualify for something like this? Who are you trying to reach?
Yeah, we're going to try and reach half the market, really, because we're looking at everyday working folks that a generation ago or 2 generations ago wouldn't have had a problem financing a home. They save a little, they got something ready to go, and they budget and they can get there. Families who do that now that are working what used to be considered good paying jobs aren't making enough money to get there. And so we're going to help by closing that gap, but then we'll keep that in the trust for families in perpetuity.
So mention who is helping fund this. People are wondering probably where the dollars are coming from.
Sure.
So it's a mix, right?
Yeah, it'll be a mix, and it could be, you know, the charities that are participating in the program or bringing homes to the market are contributing to the projects, local government grants perhaps, private donations, any resource that we can lay our hands on, we'll leverage effectively and prudently, because that's the thing that really makes this exciting for me, is that those dollars aren't just, you know, put out there and then they're gone forever. They're going to keep working to maintain the affordability of that home for generations.
And so there's an educational component of this as well for those potential buyers.
Right.
They need to go through some education and some home buying. So explain how that works too.
Sure. Well, NeighborWorks Green Bay is providing home buyer education and counseling for, you know, decades, and we may serve as many as 1,000 families a year, teaching them how to make that jump into home ownership. That program's still available and is going to be helping the families understand, you know, how this process works, with additional, you know, sections on what's different about purchasing in a trust. Also, that ground lease component that is part of the deal, you know, is very different as well, and we will seek to have some attorney partners that'll help walk those families through so that they understand all the details of the project and the deal before they get to closing.
And you've seen other communities do this successfully.
Yeah, there's 230, 40 of these around the country. The closest one to us right now is the Door County Housing Partnership, serving Door County, and we're familiar with that operation. And there's a group of them either forming or in existence here in Wisconsin, and we're all meeting regularly on Zoom and talking about the nuts and bolts of these things so that we all get it right.
So when will this start? Is it underway? Are we ready to go?
Yeah, we're seeking to identify the first homes that we're going to build in the program, and we may have other tools in the toolbox within the coming year. So I'm sure you'll see the first homes going into the trust in the coming year.
Sounds like an exciting project for you.
Yeah, it really is.
You know, something that you've worked on for a while.
Yeah.
Thank you, Noel Halverson from NeighborWorks Green Bay. We appreciate you explaining the program to us today.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.